My name is David Johnson. I'm from Middle River, Minnesota. What were the other questions?
Well, did you graduate from high school or anything like that?
Graduated from Newfoundland, Minnesota.
What year was that? What year was that?
1964.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then
From Newfoundland, I went to vocational school in Thief River for about a year. Then I joined the Naval Reserve in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay.
And then, well, that was a year and a half or so of meetings. And then I went to training in Great Lakes Naval Station in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And after that, I was to go on active duty for 2 years.
So you went to basic training where at?
Sheboygan, Wisconsin was a naval training center in
And what was
Sheboygan.
it? And what was that like?
Well, I don't know. It was winter time. It was cold, but that lasted, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I can't remember how long that was. And then, of course, I came back and continued going to reserve meetings after that.
So you're there for 2-3 weeks. What did you do for them 2-3 weeks?
Typical training. Marching, school classes. That's what we did there.
Okay.
On safety mostly and firefighting, and because it's dangerous on ships,
Sure.
and things like that. That was the main one, is safety for ships.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then you get down with Sheboygan, then you go to.
Then I went back to Fargo and I continued on with the meetings until I got orders for active duty, which I got orders for Vietnam.
You were in the reserves and you got orders for Vietnam?
Yep.
Okay, how'd that work out?
Well, I'm still here, so it went good.
Okay, but all right.
But before we went over there, I went to Norfolk, Virginia, for training before we went to Vietnam, and I can't remember how many weeks that was. And then when we got through with that, and that was rifle training and all kinds of stuff like that, survival training.
Okay.
And then when I got to, I went to San Francisco, and we flew out of San Francisco to Vietnam, and I went to Da Nang.
So what was your MOS?
Damage control.
Damage control, and you flew into Da Nang.
Yep. And then I got into an outfit called Harbor Patrol, and we patrolled the Da Nang River, where they unloaded ships and stuff. That's what we did.
What kind of boat was that?
They were old patrol boats built in 1942. They were wooden patrol boats with 45 feet long and I believe it was 16 feet wide. And then on top of them, we had a set of twin 50 caliber guns.
Really?
And we'd patrol the rivers, and the shoreline. And the one thing whenever we used them, it was the Marines that were looking for help. And of course, we'd shoot over them up the hills. But that was one of the things we did. The other one, we had 16-foot Boston whalers. This is a small boat. They're fiberglass with styrofoam in them. And then we carried concussion grenades on them and dropped them in the water to disrupt swimmers that would be swimming, trying to put mines on boats and stuff.
Sure. Did you get any fish that way?
Oh yes, you get some nice ones too. Yes, that worked. Yeah.
Did anything else come floating up? Did you ever get any swimmers?
I don't, not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah. But around the piers, see, that was the main one to keep the swimmers out of the piers where they were unloading cargo ships.
Sure.
That was one of our main places. And well, anyway, that's what we did.
So
but my part of the deal was repair on the boats. Is what I did.
okay. So how long were you there?
1 day short of a year, 364 days.
So
I went in October of '68, and I come home in October of '69.
So how was it that you're in reserves and you got to go to Vietnam, or you had to go to Vietnam?
Oh no, that's the Navy gave them orders. Well, I was supposed to put 2 years of active duty in,
Okay.
and because the way I signed up.
So you actually were active duty.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
right.
when you were, so you get out of Vietnam in '69.
Yep.
Okay. What month? What month did you get out of there?
October.
October. So you went through part of Tet then, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. That was active then. Yeah.
Okay. And so where did you fly out of from Da Nang? Did you fly out of Da
Da
Nang? Oh, you flew out
Da
of Da
Nang
Nang?
had an Air Force base there, or an airport there, a big one.
Okay. And you flew into.
Well, then when we flew, we went from Da Nang to Taiwan, and then in Japan we refueled, and then in Alaska we were supposed to refuel, but we had favorable winds, so then we went right to California.
Okay. When that Freedom Bird left the ground, did people get a little excited?
Oh yeah, more excited when it touched ground in America, though.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So how long have you got left to your service when you get into?
well then, because they were already getting ready to wind down Vietnam, they let us out early on the active duty.
Okay,
So my 2 years of active duty, I only really spent about a year and a half on it.
okay, so you got kind of an early out from active duty,
Yeah,
and then you went into reserves.
yeah.
And where did you do your reserve time at?
Fargo, North Dakota.
Fargo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, and how many years did you do that?
I don't remember.
What did the Fargo?
Because when I got the early out, I got out of the end of that too.
Okay.
See, so, yeah.
So while you were in the reserves, what were you doing there?
Basically just studying.
Did they know what to do with a Vietnam vet?
Well, that's what happened at the end. Yeah. So that's why the early outs came. So I never attended very many meetings in the end. You know, the first of it was, before I went, all of that was for basically like a basic training, is what it was.
Okay. So Fargo, you didn't do very many meetings?
Well,
Once a month?
before active duty, I did it for about 18 months.
Okay.
And then I went overseas for my year over there. So, and then when I come back, they let us all out. But you still have your, 12-year obligation when you sign up, but that's only if they call you,
Correct. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay,
And they never did.
so can we go back to Vietnam for just a second? When you were there, like you were on a boat during the day or whenever, and where did you stay when you were working?
Oh, we lived in old French barracks. The French built for when they were there, and that I lived in them.
Okay,
So no, I lived on land, and the boathouse I worked out of, was on the river. Yeah.
Were you anywhere close? Were you anywhere close to where the Air Force was?
I don't know how many miles away it was,
Okay, so you were,
but that Air Force base, when they decided to mortar it, they literally leveled it. And I swear up and down they tore it down and built it back every month.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was, I mean, it was important to keep it going. And
Well, 68 and
they worked
69
on it
wasn't
all
a
the
good time to be there.
no, it wasn't. But you know, but the Vietnamese would send in mortars constantly, you know. And well,
So did you guys get hit often?
no, they were more interested in the
Air Force?
Air Force Base, and some of the supply storage areas and stuff like that.
Okay. And so, David, anything else you want to add? What did you do when you got out? After your military career was over?
Well, I came home, and I had studied auto body, so I went back to an auto body shop and went to work. And I worked there I did that pretty much for about 8 years. And then I got into farming, and I started farming, and I've been doing that ever since.
Right there in Middle River, or?
Well, we live here by Middle River, yeah. I grew up at Holt, Minnesota.
Okay.
And the family farm is still in the family, and my son lives there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add, David, about your military career or anything else?
About mine, well, you see, I never minded it, but I had two brothers that were in it, and one of them, he couldn't wait to get out, and the other one, he just did his tour in Georgia, I think, and he didn't mind it at all.
Were they in the Army?
They were in the Army, yeah.
Okay.
Both of them, yeah.
All right.
So.
And the one that wanted to get out, was he in Vietnam, or?
No. What they did was they trained him to drive a tank. But in Vietnam, tanks were no good.
Right.
So he stayed in Texas the whole time, you know, working with that outfit. He never got the Vietnam.
So he must have been in Fort Hood, huh?
I'm not sure what base it was.
Yeah.
Could have been.
If he was with tanks, he was probably in Fort Hood. I was there.
Okay.
I can understand why he wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, he was married, so his wife was down there too, so that helped him out.
Oh,
but,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else you want to add, David? Are you a Legion member also?
Yeah, I got home here in October of '69, and I had an uncle that lived here. And as soon as he found out I was home, I'd have been ousted from his life if I wouldn't have joined this Legion immediately.
So yeah, 50-some years in.
Yeah, 50, I think my card says 52.
52 years. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so. I've been a member here ever since.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Anything else, David?
Well, if I was to say I learned anything about the military, a lot of it depends on your job and your attitude. But I think every kid in the country should be in it for a while. They teach you how to take care of yourself a little bit.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
You know.
Very good. Well, David, I want to thank you for this interview and thank you for your service.
Thank you.